Thank you all, and first of all, I want to thank Amelia for really a stupendous presentation. I have to say that when she sent me a copy of it, and I just burst out laughing because it so totally exceeded my expectations for a talk at an event like this. And of course it was so Amelia, so anyway, it was a total treat. And I thank you very much. And of course, I am just honored and delighted to be here, and I thank the Women's Caucus for Art for this wonderful honor, and it is a lovely object, and for placing me in such wonderful company with my fellow awardees tonight. And I'm so inspired by your talk, Gladys. It really gives me a boost, and I think everyone in this room feels that way. It's fabulous. And I also want to thank Jody Throckmorton for the beautiful essay in this year's catalog, and I'm so glad that it's already something that we can look at and read. When I got the email this summer from the Women's Caucus telling me of my selection and swearing me to secrecy, which was really very difficult since I live alone, there was really no one to tell. So, I experienced, in an instant, as one does, two emotions in quick succession. First, I felt deeply moved, quite weepy, in fact, and I don't want to get into why I was weepy, but I certainly thought of my mother and my sister, and people who are not here. So I'll weep. But then I sat for the rest of that 60 seconds, and I thought, oh, a lifetime. That was sobering. And it seems to have plunged me into a kind of existential crisis, which I so look forward to tomorrow, because I can go back to just like doing my recycling and cleaning my house and cooking for next week, and I don't need to think about it anymore. In fact, I'm at a point in my life where I'm being asked to look at what I have done and try to make some order out of the work that I've done, to explain it to other people, to document it, and finally to show some early work. In 2 months, I'm showing work that essentially is my MFA show from when I was 23, or actually 22 years old, to be technically correct. And I'm quite terrified, actually, by that work going out, and also I've been having to try to explain it to people, and I remember quite a lot, and I'm an obsessive self-documenter. And yet, when people ask me certain questions, I think, actually, I don't really remember exactly what I was thinking when I was 21 or 22, or I can make it up. And so I'm trying to come to grips with my work, and I asked if I could show one image to set up the metaphor of what my thoughts tonight about this Lifetime Achievement Award. It's a drawing that I did when I was about 9 or 10 years old. And I really date, at this point, my real beginnings as an artist to the drawings that I did then, which have a lot of images in them that I currently use. And even in some cases, I think if you put them like an image of a book in a drawing when I was 9 and now, it would be, it's the same hand, basically. So what you see is two women actually setting out on an ocean voyage, on 2 ocean voyages. So at the bottom you have what appears to be a married lady getting into some kind of a ship, and she has a little boy and he has a little sailboat. But at the top there's this girl setting out on an ocean journey. And you will notice that she has long blonde hair. Now in the 1950s, heroines had long blonde hair and a few waves in them, so just you have to make up for that little fictional bit. Her boat is not very practical. She doesn't have oars, but she's supremely confident about the voyage, which in the drawing is an ocean voyage. But for tonight, I'll describe the lifetime journey of the artist up until this point in my lifetime as a journey on a river. So at the beginning, you set out in your little boat, and at first the river is fairly calm. there aren't that many boats around, and some of the boats are your friends who graduated school with you at the same time, and you know, they're all starting their life as artists together. And you think you know where you're going, and you're reasonably confident in a vague sort of way that you'll get there. And you have plenty of time. Then, as you're kind of learning how to row your boat, suddenly some of the boats that you went to school with turn out to have outboard motors. They shoot ahead of you and have their retrospectives at the Whitney at age 35. And did I mention that they're boy boats? And as life goes on, there are many bends in the river. You run into shoals. You run into hurricanes in your life. And people, you know, are telling you what they think about your boat while you're out there. And they'll say to your face, your boat is wrong. Your boat is too angry. Your boat is too essentialist. Then large, sleek yachts go by, and the captains don't see you, and the wake nearly knocks you over. And then sleek new boats with the newest technology speed past you. And all the while, you think to yourself, if I can't get a bigger boat, I'm going to have to row harder. But the one thing I've left out of this story, which is this ongoing story, because I do feel that I have to row harder, is all the people who make it possible. And it doesn't take very many. In my case, it took my mother and my sister, some close friends who sort of went along with whatever it was that I said that I wanted to do. And then even very, very early on, one person who was a fan of my work, my friend Tom Nechtel in California, who was a year younger than me, but was my student in the first class that I taught. And somehow your work becomes a reality to one or two or three or four people. And that is enough. That was enough for me to row that boat over many years, and that's also the most real. But I'm happy to be in the room with many of the people who are the people who have given me that belief and support, and so many women artists and writers I admire. And I am especially glad, I think there are a few of my former students in the room, and to them I wish the best of luck as they begin their row on the river. Thank you so much.